if you look at every person as a prospect, somebody to sell services to because you're so needy of money, how do you think they feel? What do you think the impression is when you create? So I find that people who try to sell, who try to close, who have a very clear agenda that they're not really trying to help me, I get it pushes me away. It makes me fearful. It makes me to lose trust in this person.
Yeah.
And if that's what happens, what you'll find out is the harder you try to sell, the fewer clients you get.
Wow.
So it's counterintuitive. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want everybody who's listening to this, who's in a position where your survival depends on your ability to sell, I want you to rethink the word sell. I just want you to change that word. It's 4 letters. Let's just erase that word in your mind and just help. So transform sell to help. Like, I want to help you. And I genuinely and with full enthusiasm believe that where you have a challenge, I can actually provide service. So, but I want to understand what your needs are. I want to understand how you make decisions. I want to understand what has prevented you from having success up until this point. And if I can truly help you, I will. And sometimes helping you is to say, I'm not qualified for this.
Yes.
Sometimes being helpful is to refer someone else, or to say, like, you know what, this is you're going to overpay for this.
Yeah.
I will charge you this amount, but you're going to overpay me to do this. If you want, you should call somebody else for a lot less money.
Yeah.
What happens then is what you do is you build trust. And trust is really the currency that we're working with then, right? So you have to ask yourself this question. Everything you say, and more importantly, everything you do either loses or gains trust in the other person's eyes.
Yeah. Wow.
So ask yourself, the next time you have a call with a client, how deep is the bucket of trust that you're building versus the bucket of losing trust? So when the client says something and you cut them off, when the client hasn't even fully clearly articulated their problem and you already say, I know the answer. Like, how is that possible? You could know the answer. I'm still working through it in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know I even need this? So these are all assumptions that are really selfish and self-motivated versus trying to help the other person. The most wonderful thing happens if you help the other person, if you, in their eyes, are perceived as somebody who is worthy of being trusted, they will not only pay you more money, they'll stop talking to other people, and they'll give you more creative latitude than you've ever had in your life. So it's counterintuitive. And the reason why is I think it's because in popular culture and media, we have too many bad examples of what it means to sell somebody something.
Yeah.
We have the Wolf of Wall Street. We have con men, con women, con people who run around saying that's the alpha prototype is sell, 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 high pressure, aggressive. And to me, it's an old way of selling. I think it works in some areas when the seller has a lot of leverage. But in most cases for creative people, it's really ineffective. Now, I'd love to hear from your audience, if you're tuning in live, to say, yeah, I use high pressure sales techniques and they work for me. Please, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, put them in the comments. We would love to hear it. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
personally, when we changed that, when we changed that perspective, that's when everything clicked, right? Because it got to a point where it shifted. We're like, we're done. Like, this is not what it does. I used to work in the fitness industry, so a lot of those studios use that pressure for, we're trying to convince people that that's the solution that they need. Well, they don't even want it, right? Like they just went through this crazy workout and then they're dying, sweating, lower pressure, and then we're trying to sell $159 membership. No, so that, like, personally, that was my inflection point. Like, there has to be a better way, and that's when we started implementing those things. So I appreciate your input there. I appreciate it.
We had a guest here called George Bryant that he said something that day that really resonated. He said, instead of competing for getting clients, right, compete on who can serve them the best. And I think that right there is what makes actually a good sale, right? Because like, hey, I'm coming here with the best intentions because I know for a fact that I can really help you. Like you just said, right? Change that word sell from help. And I know what I do can add value to you. But I think, whether that sale goes through or not, the people cannot attach themselves to that sale. I feel like when you're attached yourself to that sale, whether it happens or not, right? And if your mood or anything depends on that, that is when you start losing and you start letting those sales control you.